Okay. Do you consent to everything beyond this point being on the record?
Yeah.
Cool.
You can change your mind about that later.
No way.
We're gonna gotcha you.
Please do.
Okay. That is one of the subtext bullets of what our podcast is about is gotcha journalism.
Oh, great.
So
good,
we'll see
good.
if we have any
I
on
look
deck.
forward to that.
Nice.
Hey everybody. I'm Sam.
And I'm Jodesna. And
this is
Happenstance.
the podcast where we give our stance on a TV show or movie we haven't seen. And today, we're joined by the founder of We Improv, a place Jyotsna and I both
Live in
go
practically.
to do improv multiple times a month.
Mm-hmm. Snapback wearer.
Oh, thank you.
So true. That was
A man who will go down in history as the coach of the improv team Sea
Okay,
Hag.
great.
What did you think I was
I was
gonna
worried
say?
that was the gotcha moment.
Oh.
That's Jyotsna's improv team for those listening. I actually didn't pre-think of a gotcha. I'm trying to summon one now.
Okay.
You like Jay-Z, don't you?
I do.
Ooh.
I think he's in rough waters.
You think so?
currently. Well, just because of Diddy associations.
Yeah.
So it begins.
I thought that was an appropriate yeah. ...
Yeah.
I don't know what else you can say.
Yeah.
And that's the
I'm not
best
going
I
to...
had.
I have defended Jay-Z in the past, but not... I have no... I'm not picking a fight. I'm not...
No.
This is not the hill I die on.
You can't
Okay.
defend random people anymore, especially
No, no,
celebrities.
no.
He's got $1 billion. He doesn't need...
He doesn't need any. He has private
a
defense.
white 40-year-old guy being like, well, you're all right, man.
All right. A Jay-Z, what do you call it? A shunner of Jay-Z.
Oh, wow.
I think healthy neutral.
Okay, healthy neutral Jay-Z.
Yeah, healthy neutral.
Fan. Cat dad.
Yeah, cat dad. That's great.
How many are you working with?
3.
Just you?
Just me and
Cats?
3 cats.
Just
That's
you.
a
Too
lot
many
of cats
cats.
for one guy. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
too many.
Wow.
What is their dynamic like?
2 of them are bonded, very sweet, and then the
Okay.
boy, he does his own thing, but he's also they're all sweet.
Okay.
I was enjoying their company this morning.
Yeah, that's the thing. Your kids are different, but you gotta love them equally.
You do. You
Yeah.
really do.
I think if 2 of your kids are bonded, though, that's a problem.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
third kid.
That seems a little suspicious.
That third kid. We need to talk about that third kid.
Yeah. He came late.
Sometimes you do.
He was an accident.
Yeah, he kind of.
Jake, I am excited.
Oh, we
to
never
have
said his
you-
name.
Oh, we didn't say his name?
No.
I don't think so.
Jake
Jabbour!
Wow. Incredible. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Yeah, they probably figured that out from the context.
Yeah, in the intro on the
Yeah.
thing they
The
can
title
read of-
even.
Sure. But Jake, we're happy to have you on the podcast.
I'm happy to be
today.
here. Thank you for having me.
When I was in We Improv, your place of business the other day, I noticed you had a shirt on that said something about physical media.
Yeah.
Physical media forever.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you think that's true? I've been contemplating physical media a lot lately.
Do I think it's true?
Yeah. That was a big intro question to this topic, but I've been thinking a lot lately about how it's like when a movie is on a VHS or a DVD and you can hold that, you're like, wow, this is important.
Yeah.
This is an idea that became
Yeah.
an object
Yes.
that people went to the store and bought. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. Can't get lost.
Yeah.
I mean,
Lost.
And when it's just like a thumbnail on Netflix, who even cares?
you can't flip it around. You can't look
Can't.
at the back.
And
No.
bonus features.
Oh, God.
We
love
lost bonus features.
bonus. I love bonus features.
I kind of am positing lately because I've been having this talk about physical media with a bunch of people because it's hot in LA still.
Yes.
Hitting the vidiots.
Yeah,
Going to
it
the
is.
DVD trades.
Yeah.
That's cool and sexy.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like since it got so easy to access movies from the internet, movies have gotten worse.
Yes.
And I'm curious, just what's your take on that? Because we have, I don't know, maybe only 10 years between us.
Okay.
But I feel like my physical media, I stopped seeing it when I was 17.
Okay.
You had longer to interact with the DVDs of the world.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think, I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on it. I'll try and be succinct, but it's hard for me to have a favorite movie if it's not something that I can own, which is I'm sure feeding some sort of
materialistic culture.
brainwashed, all of that stuff. Like there are some Netflix movies I really like, but it's like I can't put it on a shelf in my room, so it's like out of my mind.
It's like it doesn't count or something.
If somebody asks me my favorite movies, it's like I'm not seeing that one around.
Object permanence.
Yes, I'm 3. So that's a big part of it. I do also sort of think like I'm very distrustful of big corporations that it's basically like a leasing program, like a rent.
Yeah.
Like if Netflix goes under or whatever, it's like, oh, you don't have access to any of those or whatever. Like I like being able to go like, I bought this and I can watch it anytime I want, regardless of what happens. Like I'll buy movies digitally sometimes, but they're in the fine print. It's like, if we lose proprietary rights to this, you might lose this movie or whatever. So like and it's like, I guess I could lose the Blu-ray in if packing it or something, but like, I don't like that. I don't like the idea that like I need to have an internet connection and I need to pay every month to watch this thing. Like it's probably a scarcity mindset or some like part of my biological lizard brain of like, I keep these things in case it's a long winter.
Down.
Yeah. My partner and I are watching. I'm having her watch all the Mission Impossibles, as I'm sure.
Hell yeah, me too. I'm rewatching all of them.
Great. She hasn't seen any of them.
That's wow, what a beautiful experience.
It
to watch
is
them
really
for the first
beautiful.
Time.
And I'm always like, let's fire it up on the Blu-ray. Like, and she can't tell the difference, but I'm a little like, the sound is better because it's not compressed. Like I feel myself being a nerd about that. Same thing with buying music. Is like, I think we were talking about this post, some Wii show where I was like, I have my streaming platform is Deezer, which is like a French streaming company, but they stream in like high definition or hi-fi. That is a way in which I am very self-conscious and self-aware that I'm kind of a nerd about like, I just want to have the best experience and I don't want to be like, oh, power's out, like, or the internet's down. I say power's out, but I also have like a little mini power.
Do you have the solar panel thing?
I do.
You're a prepper.
I am a prepper.
But you're a prepper also for boredom, which is really interesting.
You know what? And I've never put it that way, but you're 1,000% correct. It's like, I am a prepper for boredom. I don't want to be like, what am I going to do? Like, there was a snowstorm when I was in college, and my friend is a year younger than me, so he was still in high school, and we were snowed in for like a week, and he's like, we had nothing. He's like, the sun went down, and we all just went to bed because they didn't have lights. Like, he was like, it was so boring, and I don't want to get stuck like that.
That's mostly what life was like after the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
And then in between, like, now.
Yeah.
It's mostly what you're doing was being bored.
You were being bored.
Yeah.
Telling tall tales, maybe.
Pondering your internal weather or whatever. Yeah.
Playing with sticks. That was a big thing.
Yeah,
back
sticks
then.
was a big thing.
I was going to say drinking.
Also huge.
Because in my college snowstorm, like, that's what we were doing.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to college?
Mississippi State University.
You had a snowstorm?
We did. We had one. That's how much the weather's falling apart
Wow.
outside. We had one, and it was 4 days snowed in. And I think for me, it was really focused. It was gin focused.
Oh.
Boredom and gin was what it was about. I know I normally wouldn't have drank that, but when you have to survive.
But imagine if you had a stockpile of DVDs.
It would have been different.
Would have been different.
It would have been different.
Any snowstorms in college?
So many snowstorms, so many hurricanes.
Really?
I'm from New Jersey, New York area. So like, there was a week where there was no power and school was closed because of Hurricane Sandy. I still remember.
Wow. What'd you do for that week?
I was a reader.
Okay.
You know, one thing that's like power outage proof is reading a book.
I love a book.
The OG physical media.
And see, I will buy a digital copy of a book, and if I really like it, I'll buy the physical copy of it.
One good thing about physical media, too, is if you go to someone's house and they have a lot of it, you can snoop really good.
It's great. You get a little sense of who they are. Mm-hmm. Now, I suppose you could look at somebody's Netflix because the thumbnails change, right?
Right.
The thumbnails are
That's
dependent.
who like Netflix thinks you are.
Yeah.
And then the DVD collection.
It's who you think
who
you are.
really are. Yeah.
Yeah.
We always used to have, growing up, my parents had a minivan with a flip down TV with like a DVD player in it. And yeah, good stuff. Good
Really
stuff.
good.
Yeah. But I think we always had a DVD of The Cat in the Hat.
Okay.
Like that
Mike Myers?
Yeah, Mike Myers.
Nice.
I was like really Cat in the Hat pilled from ages
That
like
makes so
5
much
to
sense
10.
for you.
But at some point, I inherited the vehicle and would drive it around. And then my friends would get in the back of it and be like, why is nothing in this car except a DVD of Mike Myers' Cat in the Hat?
Incredible.
And that would feel like such a thing.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing when people see your media.
It's
Yeah.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's vulnerable. But anyway, my current theory around all of this is that I think because of like corporate flopping and failure, that physical media is going to come back in a more mainstream way.
Yeah.
And then fingers crossed, I'm like, maybe that'll make movies better.
I think so.
I often on this podcast, I don't know if a good movie can be made by a large studio anymore.
Boy, you're talking to the right person.
Are you a movie hater too? You go to a lot of movies.
I do go to a lot of movies. I think that's the thing that we all sort of don't get to see is like how the sausage is made. Of like, I went and saw Fight or Flight yesterday, which is the Josh Hartnett on a plane with a bunch of assassins
I was gonna
movie.
say, what the hell is that? And it's called
Very-
Fight or Flight.
Yes, very low grade B movie.
Yeah.
That was just okay, but it was like a first time director, and you could see like them trying, and it's like, I bet they're not happy with this out.
Oh,
like,
no.
Yeah.
because it's like you can see a little bit of like you have so many people you have to appease. So the bigger the company, in other words, the harder it is to sort of like see your vision through to the end, right? So I think big corporations like that, like I think that's why Sinners is such a big deal, is it's like that is 1,000% just Ryan Coogler being like, here's what I want to make. And it's like, that is so rare. Most of the time you get like, here's what we were able to do. Like a podcast is awesome for that reason. Is like, you get to make this however you want to make it. There is no person between you and your audience. And in making a movie, the bigger the studio, the more people there are in between you and the audience. And we all sort of like look to the auteurs, and it's like, God, I'd love to be able to do Sinners or something like that. And it's like, most people are making movies and going like, our Mike Myers Cat in the Hat, like where it's like, yeah, we made that. Like, like even improv, it's like improv doesn't go the way you think it's going to go, and there's no other steps. It's just like, and that's kind of the fun of it. But when you're spending $100 million, it's like you have to please so many people that nobody is pleased. Not nobody, but
It feels like that. That's what pisses me off too. So I'm like, improv is allowed to be bad sometimes.
Yeah.
No one
Yeah.
spent $100 million.
right.
But if someone spent $100 million and I spent 20,
And it's bad.
and I'm like, I can see you tried there. That just makes
It
me.
sucks,
yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the physical media T-shirt is from Super Yaki. Do you either of you?
No.
It's a LA-based movie apparel company, and they get sponsored by different movies, or they'll just put out merch for movies they like. And I discovered it because of Thelma. Did either of you see Thelma?
No.
It's June Squibb.
She rides
like
a
A moped. Yeah. It's like a very small movie, and it's exactly what the guy wanted to do, and it's based on his 104-year-old grandmother or whatever. And they made shirts about it, and I was like, oh, cool. And then I bought it on Blu-ray because I was like, I want this piece of media.
LA likes the physicalization of media more than other places.
Yeah.
Because people are so addicted to movies that
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's also like the myth of the video store, Quentin Tarantino, you know, it's like,
Yeah.
if I own enough movies, maybe one day I can make one.
you can pile them all up. and
Yeah.
Here's your set. Yeah.
It's like Beanie Babies too. I feel like they're more valuable now. VHS.
I like the idea of thinking if I own enough Beanie Babies, maybe one day I
I
can
can
make one.
I can make my own Beanie
I
I
Baby.
can
Find
make
other
a
places.
$100 million Beanie Baby.
Yeah. Build a
Yeah.
Bear. It's kind of making your own Beanie Baby.
That's true.
Yeah.
But worse.
They already give you its loose skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hide.
So Jake, what's up with you today?
So what's up with me today? This is going to tie in so nicely.
Hell yeah.
To the movie and what we were talking about is I ordered a Blu-ray and it was taking a while to arrive. And then I just got a text today saying like, we were unable to fulfill your order. And so there's the physical media thing, right? And then we're going to talk about a movie that I assume is about a MacGuffin.
Of course.
And I feel like that's the other little part of physical media is like, ooh, I want this thing. And I like trying to like find it and get it and have it. And I was like obsessively like checking the thing and it was like still processing. I was like, this is not a good sign. It's been like 4 days. And then they were like, we don't have it. And I was like, dang. And I'll obsessively keep looking for it. And then I love to watch it track. I really like the whole.
It appeals
like,
to your like hunter-gatherer nature. But
Yeah.
It's about the journey.
It really is. Because as soon as I get it, it's going to go like on the shelf. Like
Yeah.
it's very like Raiders of the Lost Ark of like, okay, and we put this in the warehouse.
That does feel so relevant to today.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so your physical media for you is like your treasure.
Yeah.
And then you're
1,000%.
kind of golluming out about it. But it's like, what kind of fun is he really having?
Yeah.
with that treasure.
Yeah, whenever Gollum
Interesting.
has the ring, he's just like, he loses it. That's the
I know.
thing. He loses it
That's the
immediately.
thing. Yeah.
But the quest for it
The quest. Love the
makes
quest.
him
Love the
feel
quest.
alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is appealing to the like Happy Meal generation that's like, I need all the DuckTales or whatever the thing is. It's like there is a
Collectible.
yeah. They gave
Hoarding.
it
resource hoarding.
yeah, resource
yeah.
hoarding.
It's like Funko Pops.
Yeah. We hate those here.
That's me
We
doing
do,
my
yeah.
new famous spit whenever you don't like something. Yes.
Okay. What
You
what's-
love Funko Pops?
No, not at
They're
all.
so embarrassing. And I think that is like a Funko Pop is like feels so far removed from the idea that you like
Yeah.
of the, like a movie's an idea and then a Funko Pop is some other
Yeah.
physical manifestation of the idea, but all that looks like that and is all
It's like a
bland.
physical manifestation of plastic waste, in
Yes.
my opinion.
And
I
like-
do.
yeah.
That does weigh on me, the physical media thing, because I am like, we got to stop fucking making things out of plastic and wasting things. So I am at struggle with that. And
you know
a
how many
little bit-
water bottles they throw away on $100 million movie set?
Oh, I can't even imagine.
So many. I think about that too. I'm like the waste that went into me watching something that's just kind of pissed me off
Yeah.
and that I'll forget.
Yeah, they just like,
Gets to me.
we were watching. What Mission Impossible are you up to?
Well, I've seen all of them, but
Okay.
I just watched 5.
Yeah.
I did fall asleep for the second half of 5.
Oh no, I hate to hear that. But 5 is the where he jumps into the water.
Yes.
And that cooling station is like a chat GPT station. Like that is what everybody is like. That is the amount of water we are using to be like, how old is David Duchovny or whatever?
Right.
It's like that cooling thing. This isn't fun. That's just the environmental thing. But Funko Pops are like the SpongeBob SquarePants ice cream thing where it's like, you've seen those pictures of
Yeah.
Where they
SpongeBob
get
ice
more
cream?
fucked up and
Yeah,
melty.
it's like,
yeah.
that's the version you like?
That's what I
that's-
think.
yeah.
Except I would argue the SpongeBob popsicles are sort of more like a Dada piece of art.
Yes.
And then the
Yeah.
Funko
Yeah.
Pop is like corporate blandness.
Yeah.
And at least SpongeBob's edible.
Yeah, you can eat a popsicle.
That's true.
And then you don't have to look at it at
Yeah.
your house where everyone knows you're a dork.
And it brought you joy for a single second because it looks horrible.
It looks insane.
yeah. But that's all I can imagine people getting out of Funko Pop is 1 second of joy. And then, now you gotta get another
even
one.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Joe, what's up with you today?
What's up with me is that I got really into birds recently.
Oh, great.
No time like the present to
my,
get into birds.
my sister was visiting last week and she has an app on her phone called Merlin. Shout out Merlin. It's a free app where you can just like record the sound around you and it'll just identify birds.
Why is it called Merlin? Was he into birds?
Merlin's a type of bird.
Oh, really?
It's
I
not
think
named
so.
for the famous wizard. What are they thinking?
Perhaps the wizard was named after the bird.
I was thinking of the animated Sword in the Stone where Merlin like turns into
The famous wizard.
the famous wizard like during a training or maybe when he's fighting with the witch or something they like turn into cats and then birds, and it's a distant memory. But apparently,
Yeah, maybe
No.
all these birds used to be human. Isn't that fucked up to think about?
wow.
A little bit.
But maybe they're happier.
I
now.
wouldn't mind. I would take a trade, I think, on that.
Really?
I'd be a goose. Yeah.
A goose?
That would be
Yeah.
the one that you know.
Huh.
Think about having all that neck. You don't want all that neck, that incredible balance.
I'd want to
that
be
attitude.
a pelican. I just went to Malibu a few days ago,
I love
and there's so
pelicans.
many pelicans.
These are interesting choices for birds.
What would you be?
I don't know. My mind goes to eagle, like a big eagle.
Okay.
America
America
lover.
lover. Yeah. Whoa.
Whoa.
Yep.
Fan of Jay-Z in America.
Yeah.
Ooh. What's up with you today, Sam?
It's hot, you know?
Yeah.
We had a heat wave recently.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got me feeling suspicious. It's got me feeling paranoid.
Of
People being crooked on these mean streets.
Mm-hmm.
These mean streets. I don't know if you can trust these. I turn up the collar of my coat.
Yeah.
You know?
Crime increases in a heat wave.
Yeah, and I feel that. Whenever it gets hot, I feel that in both ways where I'm like, I'm more likely to kill that person and they're more likely to kill me, but we're just like thrift shopping together. I can feel the
Oh, it's
energy
a friend.
though. Yeah, it's a friend, but I can just feel it's like, oh, it's spiky now. Now that it's hot out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been pondering that.
Well, that all reminds me so much of our topic for today.
Mm.
The Maltese Falcon. Happenstance. This movie came out in 1941.
Okay.
Do you remember that time, Jake? Were you alive?
How old were you?
Yeah, I had just been enlisted.
It actually, that means it came out the same time as my grandma did.
What?
Wow.
Which is crazy. Because I think normally the furthest back we get on movies, it's like they came out the same time as me. This
Oh,
is an
okay.
old one.
This is an old one.
This
Yeah.
is like 3 gens back. I don't know. Do you think this movie ever made it to VHS?
It had to have.
It had to be. You think people had a VHS of the Maltese Falcon?
There wasn't an older way to consume media before that, right?
You had to have the film spools and go to the
spools,
theatre
of course.
and have a projector.
Yeah, I mean that is a recent. It's so ubiquitous, but it is like that is a recent development where it's like you could watch a movie more than once. I guess it was on television and then you could own it because television came and then the VHS and the beta.
Isn't television though even like 50s before that was
Yeah.
mainstream on the big screen? So
Yeah.
like this movie is old.
Like
This
that
movie's
this
old.
movie came out, people saw it in the theater and then went, I'll never see that again.
But also, movies back then are so hard to understand. Like everyone's talking like, and then you're like, what the hell do they say? And then you can only watch it once in theaters, no subtitles.
Wait, so you're saying the other people at that time also they weren't talking like ba ba da ba ba ba.
Maybe they were. Maybe everyone talked like that.
It's like the Shakespeare
the-
question.
The transatlantic accent is what now I used to know the trivia, now I don't remember, but it was like what they settled on, even though nobody talked that way. They were like, this will be the uniform language for
The pictures.
the pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like nobody talked that way, but they were like, this is how we will communicate to everybody. I think it was picked because it wasn't a regional. Yeah.
And it's probably kind of refined and aspirational.
Yeah.
Huh.
Which is crazy.
That is crazy. Wait, so I was bringing up the thing in Shakespeare time, was it that they talked like that or he just talked like that and was also like the people, the proletariat can deal. They can
I
interpret.
think they can deal,
Okay.
right?
That's what I thought it was too, that it was his language for plays.
I mean, they had a different English accent back then than they have now. The English accent back in Shakespearean time sounds closer to an American
What we sound
accent.
like,
Yeah.
famously.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The OG English accent is like a southern accent.
Yeah.
In the United States. Which
So
is funny to think about.
it got brought over to America,
Yeah.
adopted.
We ran with it.
We took literally took it and left none of it behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
And then
over there they started being like, oh,
it's time
and
to talk
rounding their
fancy.
Oh,
yeah.
you took our language.
Yeah.
Everyone who was left talked like that
Yeah.
for some reason.
What's going on? I woke up and my dialect is gone.
You're going to get canceled for that.
By who? An orphan? An old-timey British orphan?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So are you a fan of old movies typically?
Not typically, and I try.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what do you try with?
I like some Hitchcock. I like some early Hitchcock.
Okay.
I was just listening to a podcast and they were doing the Paul Newman Hall of Fame. And I was like, I should probably try some of these movies. But I'm not somebody, I was on a text thread and they were like, I just watched, I can't remember what they said. And they were like, it was so great. And they were like, oh, you got to check out Gaslight. You got to check out. And it's like, it's really hard for me to get into an old movie. I know that upsets older generations. And I know I'll get upset with younger generations when they're like, I don't want to watch this old 80s film or whatever. But like, it is hard for me to dip back into that. So I've seen some Hitchcock movies in the last year that I really liked. I've seen Casablanca once.
Everyone has to try with Casablanca.
I've never done it.
I wouldn't say it's worth it necessarily.
Okay, I think I was supposed to for a film class in college.
They're gonna cancel me.
The Casablanca heads.
They're gonna cancel us for everything we've ever said about movies. We're haters, but
yeah.
One day when Disney runs the government.
Yes, finally.
Yeah.
It's a Wonderful Life. I've watched that.
Classic.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
I've watched a lot of like Turner Classic movies, but kind of in that situation where it's like you're hanging out with your grandma.
Yes.
And that's what she's up to.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like, well, let's get a load of this. I think my palette for movies starts at like the 60s on.
Okay.
I feel you on like the Hitchcock. I can like watch some of that.
Yeah.
Now, what was Nick at Night for you two?
Nick at Night.
Nick at Night, Fresh Prince.
Yeah, see?
Friends.
Oh, you got it late.
Really? Mm-hmm. See, that's interesting. Those were my contemporary, my prime time. And Nick at Night was like, I Dream of Jeannie.
Whoa.
And not the Andy Griffith Show.
Bewitched.
Bewitched.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was wondering if Turner Classic Movies did that. Or if their classic movies are, like classic rock is
How
now
it's now
its
like
own thing.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
like
yeah.
Springsteen, and before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if Turner Classic Movies has adapted.
Yeah, like what would they show? Like Ghostbusters?
That's wow. I feel like realistically, if it's still just on cable, it's showing still 1940s movies, but with like mostly ad break.
Yeah.
For dialysis medicine and Republican politicians. Like, I think that's mostly what cable is now.
Viagra.
Yeah. Stuff like that. Not Nick at Night friendly.
Yeah. What's your for both of you, what's your favorite oldest movie?
Graduate.
Oh, okay. That's pretty far back.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I had to watch The Apartment in film school. And
Okay.
it's actually good.
How old is that?
I think 50s or 60s.
Okay.
60s.
Okay.
I think to me 60s feels modern.
It's in black and white though, which I think is like a big barrier for a lot of people for watching these.
It is for me a little bit.
I struggle with that too. I'm like, what color is her hair? Oh my God. Like I can't stand it.
Coming Up Baby? Is that the name of it? There's
Bringing
a
Up Baby?
Bringing Up Baby with a jaguar in it, right?
Oh.
There's like a live jaguar in that movie.
They really could do anything they wanted
they're
back
just
then.
Doing whatever.
They should be advertising Bringing Up Baby with the jaguar more.
I know.
I would argue.
It's also like when I think of a classic movie, I sort of equate it to like classic stories where it's like, oh yeah, like a traditional story, and then you watch that and it's like, what? Why is there a jaguar in this for? Or maybe it's a leopard, whatever. It's like a live leopard is in the middle of this movie, and it's like, whoa, so weird.
That's when people were really doing whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
And there were so many drugs. Everyone was like on lithium.
Right. Classy drugs that made you better at like being in an office.
Yeah.
I think of old movies as being about two people leaning on a big desk.
Okay, yeah.
And like being terse to one another.
Yeah.
And that does not excite me. A jaguar kind of does.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I just watched Vertigo.
Oh, good one.
Okay.
That's a good
I've
movie.
never
That
seen
was
that
fun.
one.
That one, the thing I like about Hitchcock movies is when they're over, they're over. It's like the movie, and like every one of his movies is like, and we're done. Like there is no like Lord of the Rings ending where it's like, oh, let's see what they're up to. It's like movie over. That was that to me is like a very old. I don't know if that would be my like favorite old movie, but that was one that I enjoyed. That I was like, this is an old movie.
This is freaking old.
Yeah.
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 Didn't they try to remake that recently, or was that Psycho?
They did a Psycho remake shot for shot. So exactly the same movie, but with different cast and color, I think. Because the original one's black and white. Right?
Yeah.
I think it's cool. Did either of you watch Project Greenlight?
No.
It's like a movie making competition reality show, and they give a bunch of directors like a scene, and then they all direct it, and then they pick one to direct the whole movie. But I think it would be cool to watch two people make the same, like a movie from the same script, to be like, oh, this is like two interpretations of it. But I don't need to see like a remake. Like I want to see it them made simultaneously so they don't influence each other, as opposed to like, oh, I remade this and am having a conversation with the older movie. That's like less interesting to me.
Yeah, that's fair. Especially a shot-for-shot remake. That's just so unnecessary.
Weird. Yeah.
I like it when they colorize old movies.
Oh,
That's
do you have a
kinda
good
interesting.
example?
A lot of the Hitchcock movies are colorized, and it's like harder to find the black and white version sometimes. But it's interesting because they'll like pick an eye color and hair color that might not be accurate at all.
Whoa.
I know, it's so strange.
Is North by Northwest colorized, or was it shot in color?
I don't remember. That is a
Okay.
good one though. I think that's later Hitchcock though, so it might be color.
Rear Window.
Rear Window is colorized,
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fun one. I always think of the sandwich in Rear Window. The sandwich and the dog. There's something about stuff that is like has a short shelf life that to see it in a movie always like sticks with me. It's like that sandwich was a real sandwich and then got thrown away.
Wow.
And it's like, and that dog is long dead.
Dead.
Like,
well, most of the people in that movie
I know
are
most of the
long
people
dead.
are. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like when a dog's in a movie too, and then you're like, a dog could never conceptualize a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
A
don't
dog
know they're in
never
a
knows its
movie.
life has been captured.
Yeah.
Like,
Have either of you been to the Pet Cemetery in Calabasas?
No.
Wait.
You two
adding
would like
to the,
it.
I would love it. You're right.
It rules. It is a giant pet cemetery.
Yeah.
And the MGM lion is buried there.
What?
Some people bury horses.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little mausoleum. And it's like some of the tombstones have a picture of like a little cat. Like
Fun.
it is a real delight.
Yeah.
Sounds macabre.
It is. It's like sweetly macabre. I don't know how to like. I don't know what the comp is or whatever, but it is like, oh, this is like sweet and weird, but it is very fun.
Okay, field trip.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
trying to
take a
go
field
there.
trip.
I'll be able to have a good time at that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
absolutely will.
Yeah. During my college era, speaking of like a jaguar being an old movie, I used to, on the way to LSU in Louisiana, there's a famous gas station outside of it called Tigertown Gas that had a live tiger at a gas station.
What?
While you were there?
Yeah, as recently as like 8 years ago.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I can go to
Whoa.
like a dead animal at the cemetery.
Everything goes in the South.
Everything goes.
That's what I learned when
Yeah.
I watched Tiger King.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so real. I know multiple people like all of those people. Yeah.
That was so crazy.
Yeah.
He just got married.
Oh, to
The Tiger
who?
King?
In jail?
Yeah, the Tiger King. To some guy
Hell yeah.
that he loves. Yeah, of course.
That's great. Was he out in the Tiger King or was he kind
yeah,
of
that
closeted?
was part of the whole thing. Is that part of him? His dirty business dealings is that he was having sex with multiple twinks who worked at his farm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was an empowered out man.
Yeah.
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 Man.
Gay Southern icon.
Yeah. After that came out, multiple people texted me and were like, "Sam, that guy's like you," and I was like, "That's Southern racist.
Wow.
That's like just
Wow.
Southistness." To say.
Really?
But everyone
Truly.
from there is more like the Tiger King than people from other places.
Yeah.
I do think that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just gotta be.
There's a 30 Rock joke where they like make cheap couches or something, and Alec Baldwin's character is like, "You think this is a couch?" And the guy is like, "It's more like a couch than most things." Like, and I think of that one. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, you're more like Tiger King than
Than
most
most
people.
yeah,
And I sat with that. I was like, yeah, you're right.
yeah.
You're honestly right. Speaking of Tiger King, that sounds distinctly like Maltese Falcon.
Yes.
Should we get into it?
I think we should get into it.
Who does anyone have any prior knowledge of this film?
Like just light impressions in my head, but I tried not to do anything with it, and it's like, yeah, just I'm picturing a fedora
Totally.
when I think of it, like, yeah, one of those male at Cary Grant or
Even older, I liked Humphrey Bogart.
Okay, Humphrey
one.
Because
Bogart.
I like have a relationship with Cary Grant. I know him. I have no idea who.
Isn't
Humphrey
he the
Bogart
guy at
is.
Casablanca?
Yeah,
Humphrey
yeah.
Bogart.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Humphrey.
Humphrey Bogart.
Not a name we're doing these days.
No.
No, but actors are still Timothy Chalamet. That's the same
Yeah.
as Humphrey
Humphrey
Bogart.
Bogart.
if you think
Yeah,
about
it is
yeah.
a little bit.
Totally.
Jude Law.
That's a nice,
Crazy
like, stern
name.
one.
Yeah.
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 He should have been a judge.
Too good looking.
Too good looking.
They don't let judges be that pretty.
So Humphrey Bogart.
Humphrey
Then there's got to be
Bogart.
a woman, right?
There's got to be.
An old timey woman.
That's all I know
Bacall?
about it. Is it's like
Lauren Bacall. Is that a?
that
I
is an
love.
old timey woman.
I love the idea if you have old listeners who are just freaking out, like,
yeah.
They don't know about the. That's why I imagine old people who care about movies still talking.
Yeah.
Do you know
They
the
don't know
woman
about
in
the
it?
Maltese Falcon. No, I know
Okay.
there is a femme fatale.
Okay.
Ingmar. What's
Ingrid Bergman,
Yeah,
perhaps.
Ingrid Bergman.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Okay. See, I was struck in my dim knowledge of like I know this is like a black and white like noir film.
Yeah.
I'm like the women in it. Who gives a damn? Is
Right.
how I imagine it. Like I don't know what era Ingmar Bergman and
Ingrid.
Lauren Bacall are.
Yeah.
But I feel like when they're in a movie, it's their movie.
Yeah.
And this movie feels like a guys with guns in the rain, and there'll just be some woman.
I don't
There
know.
has
I'm
to
like
be.
thinking because from what I know about this is one of the like templates for a noir.
Yeah.
And in
Okay.
those, I feel like the women are kind of important because
There's the call to action.
yeah,
essentially,
exactly.
right?
They arrive. They have their little quest.
Detective in an office.
Yes,
Woman comes in out of the rain.
exactly.
With legs as long as the
Yeah.
day is or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
saying stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah, inner monologue. Like I think this was the template for which we do the trope, maybe.
Yeah.
And she needs him to find the Maltese Falcon.
Yes.
That's my guess.
That's what I would say. Okay, do you have more? Do you have more speculations? Do you have a formed happenstance?
Well, so the Maltese Falcon is a MacGuffin, right? So it's like, and he's
Wait,
got to go
redefine
find
that
it.
for me. That's the thing we all want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the thing that
Deal.
moves the story
plot.
forward.
Okay.
In Pulp Fiction, it's the briefcase.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
in Mission Impossible 3, it's the rabbit's foot. And those are examples of it being, it doesn't even matter what it is.
Exactly.
It's just the thing that people want. So I think, which is from an Alfred Hitchcock movie.
The
right?
word MacGuffin?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that, but
But I think,
Possible.
but in my head, it's like, am I conflating Maltese Falcon with MacGuffin because MacGuffin sounds like puffin, which is a bird? Like, did
And
my
it
head
starts with
just
an
go
M.
like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
like-
Maltese Falcon.
Yeah,
the
but-
Maltese MacGuffin.
That's
I-
okay. We can conflate on
Yeah.
this podcast.
so I think he goes after it. And then it's probably like a twist where it's like she set him up.
Okay, literally exact same thinking.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Okay, I'm curious what you think. I am a literalist on this podcast. And
Okay.
There's nothing more I like than thinking about the title of a movie and being like, how can it be exactly about that? What do you think the Maltese Falcon is?
Well, you say that immediately makes me think of like my mom had this incense holder that was like an owl, but it was like a big heavy metal owl, and you took the head off and you put a little incense nugget in there
Yeah.
or whatever, and then I think like the smoke came out of it, but it was like a paperweight, like a real. So this is like a big statue of a bird.
You think it's a big statue of a bird?
Made
Like,
of what?
Like iron or something like that.
Okay.
But maybe that there's a little scroll inside.
Oh,
of it.
scroll.
So you think it's precious because of the little scroll?
Yeah. Well, I kind of backed myself into why would she need a
well,
big
yeah,
iron
and like,
bird?
why does she come to him? Like, what's her deal at all?
Yeah. I think she's rotten, right? She's
She's-
Of course.
She's
and it's
bad
like
news. Yeah.
she's like it got stolen from me, but in reality she needs him to steal it.
Classic.
And
A double cross?
a double cross.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, in my mind, I was like, what's the Maltese Falcon? Multiple questions. First of all, Malta.
Little island, right?
Where's it at? Can anyone name that on this
Oh.
podcast? And does it still exist as Malta?
I think it's near Greece, or maybe I'm making that
Wow.
up, but-
Okay,
I
I
have
was thinking
no
Italian
idea.
in origin.
Yeah,
vibes as
Mediterranean,
well.
yeah.
Okay, I initially thought gold statue, but I want it to not be missing in the movie. I want it to be very present in the movie. so we can look at it.
Yeah.
And I think I would like it to be a stuffed bird with a little hole for hiding things.
Okay.
Ooh, both
Yeah.
of you a little bird carrying
Yeah,
news.
it's
of
a
some
hiding
kind.
hole.
Yeah. Cloaca.
A
Cloaca.
cloaca. That's true. That's
Gross.
what birds have instead of buttholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's their all-purpose hole.
Yeah.
Even.
So for hiding squirrels as well.
Yeah. Efficiency. That's evolutionary efficiency.
What
Yeah.
do you think the Maltese Falcon is?
Okay, I went in a different direction than you guys.
Okay.
I think the Maltese Falcon is a spy. It's
a guy. I
it's a
thought about
person.
that too. A guy
Yeah.
from Malta who's like metaphorically that makes him the
Interesting.
Falcon.
Yes, and I don't know, because it's in this era, like I want it to be like a political thriller too.
Okay.
So
3 Days of the Condor.
3
Is
days
that
of
the name of the movie?
I don't know, but a bird again.
Another bird.
Another
A bird.
bird.
Spy bird movie.
Okay. They were loving that.
Yeah.
Back in the
maybe,
day.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But my thought was this woman comes and she's like looking for her husband or something. And then he starts looking for the husband, but then he falls into a whole conspiracy, some kind of political conspiracy that then leads him on the trail of this spy or person called the
Okay.
Maltese Falcon. And the whole time he thinks that that's the husband and he's looking for the husband, but it's actually her. She's the Maltese Falcon.
Oh, I was going to make the pitch. It should be him.
He himself is
Yeah.
the Maltese
He's
Falcon.
the Maltese Falcon.
Oh, cool.
And he figures it out and is like, no!
In a memento type way.
Yeah, he pulls
Oh,
his hair up
that's
all
good.
crazy.
Okay. I like that too.
I'm doing a lot of college talk today on this episode, but during college, 2 of my good friends from high school pledged a frat.
Okay.
And it was like, it was still a frat, but I will say it was sort of the thinking man's drug fraternity. It had a little more going for it than regular
Oh,
frat.
okay.
They were like lightly considered. But they, for the first like 9 weeks of it, the frat boys were like, and then after you go through initiation, you're going to meet the best, I don't remember which frat it was, Sig Ep brother of all time. This guy's a legend. This guy's incredible. And they were like, who is this guy going to be? Why does he want to be in Starkville, Mississippi? And it ends up being a whole thing where they would kidnap them and put a bag over their head and then take them to a room with a mirror. And the greatest Sig Ep of all time
Was you.
themselves.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think that's an ancient tradition.
So maybe he's told that the Maltese Falcon is going to bring about the downfall of the U.S. government or something, and he's going to find him in this specific hotel room. He goes into the hotel room; it's filled with mirrors. It's him.
And the actions he's been taking
Yes.
have made
Wow.
exactly what he does.
Honestly, that's awesome.
That's awesome. That's what I said about the frat boy thing too. After they told me, I was like,
That's a
they got
great
him.
movie.
That's a good one. I thought the same thing about like it's a woman.
Yeah.
And I wanted it. Wait, I have notes on this because I have some dialogue I wanted to be included based on the transatlantic accent. I think it should be in Atlantic City and all about the docks.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I think this guy needs to be on the docks.
Okay.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
I think he's a detective and I want the lady to come to him. My pitch was that she's looking for like her brother or something who's
Okay.
coming to America with her inheritance, like a bunch of treasure or something from England.
yeah.
And then he's gone. And she needs that because she's just a lady. Like, she needs the money. She needs her brother to get you through. And all that she had on the boat was this Maltese Falcon. And that's why I want it to be stuffed and, like, seem like it's not.
Oh, so it's like the opposite of a
thing.
MacGuffin. It seems like it's not important, but it is.
That was my wish.
That's kind of interesting.
And then I specifically, I wanted this woman to walk around holding the fake bird so that guys could say stuff like, they don't make birds like that anymore.
Oh, okay.
And then another guy says, the statue or the redhead?
Ah,
And there's a lot of that. Like, that bird's going to end up in the harbor. Which one?
So you think it's a little funnier?
No, I think they're saying this serious as all. I think this is real.
Okay.
I think potentially though, I've just been so like movie pilled and parody movie pilled that's the only way I can think.
Yeah.
Is that these guys are being goofy back then?
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I need to have more respect for the Maltese Falcon.
I
But
don't
also,
know,
like,
I
that
think-
wordplay is too good.
I think movies back then did have like texture, and that to me screams texture.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, running gag about bird versus bird.
Yeah. And I think ultimately I was going to blame it on her too, like that she killed her own brother to take all the fortune and
That's
was trying to get
pretty
him in on a
good.
thing to frame him or something.
Yeah. Those are all good.
Thank you.
So
You
none of
have-
us have any wild.
No. Did we didn't inspire any wild tangents from you?
I don't think so. I mean, part of me is like, does he die at the end? Does she die at the end? Like, does it have one of those like, whoa, Like it doesn't feel like it ends happily.
I wondered about that too. I didn't know what the trope is for these movies
I
in
think
terms of
noir
ending.
movies always end badly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then
Usually.
I think I want the guy to go to jail because the woman successfully set him up.
Oh, so she gets away with it.
Yeah.
I think she should die in his arms, and he's really upset about it and is traumatized.
And then he goes to jail. I want him to go to jail
Okay,
for
okay.
some reason.
Okay.
I really want this detective guy
I hope
to
it
end up
ends
in
with Humphrey
jail.
Bogart in jail.
It seems like
Clink, clink,
such
clink,
an
clink.
old movie thing to do to
Yeah.
hold the bars. Or like,
Yeah.
run his
And
cup.
then, yeah.
Yeah.
Is he an alcoholic, we think?
Oh, for sure.
Did they call it that back then?
But is he like,
I think
is he the best and she came for the best, or is he the worst and she needed a patsy?
I think he's the best man with some bad habits.
Oh,
and
wow.
he's in the opium den or whatever. They did that back then, right? Opium.
That feels earlier.
Well, definitely earlier. I don't know how long there were opium dens.
I just heard about opium the other day
From who?
at an improv show.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Somebody gave a monologue, I won't say who, that was about how he used to be an opium dealer like 10 years ago.
Holy shit.
10 years ago?
Yeah.
Where?
In like somewhere in the I think like West Virginia or somewhere you'd expect there to be opium.
Hell. Oh, hell.
I know.
Yeah. On some Tiger King type shit.
Yeah.
It was
Yikes.
eye-opening to say the least.
Yeah, I feel like they're not doing opium, but I do think in it being the Maltese Falcon, they do like things to be like exotic
Oh.
back then. So I don't know
Okay.
what else comes with Maltese culture.
What was exotic back then?
A scarf.
Yeah.
A scarf.
1,000% there's a
From,
scarf in
like-
this movie. Do you think there's a plane?
Textiles.
Oh.
I'm team boat over plane.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
I want it to be boat based.
1941.
Yeah.
Is he a veteran?
Of the first one. Oh, yeah, and he has PTSD.
I think he has to be a veteran of the first
I
one.
don't think they called it that. I
They
think
didn't
no
call it that
alcoholism
either.
and
No,
no
no,
PTSD.
no,
was
but he's
doing
troubled.
awesome.
Yeah.
For a man of the time, he probably
He
was.
was doing
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah. What else are these movies? Bad guy. Who do you think the bad guy is? Do you think there's a bad guy we're meeting and like fighting with some gunfire?
Oh, I bet there's a couple shots, but I don't think I bet we're getting like maybe one shot kills her sort of thing.
Okay.
If there's a bad guy, we don't get much character development. It might even just be like,
Just a guy twirling his mustache in the shadows.
That's what I think the bad guy's either going to be a very like foreign guy because of like
Yeah.
xenophobia or like a really just ugly guy that they're like, ugh.
That's
Oh.
true. Also,
His
back then, I
visage.
do think the people, like the Mediterranean countries, were still like, they were like brown.
They were like
not
swarthy
white.
whites are not
Yeah,
white.
Yeah.
they were not white.
I think
yeah.
we're exploring that basically.
yeah.
And exotic things can be anything
Yeah.
because of that. Yeah.
yeah. So like maybe there's a guy like a club owner like
Like a restaurant or something.
yeah.
Right? And they're like the man with the silken beard.
Yes. Yeah.
'Cause back then you
Oh
didn't have
yeah.
a
Are
beard.
we getting any? What are those?
You're talking
little
about the hat
fezzes?
that the monkey with
Oh,
the
pheasant.
symbols wears.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I think there's going to be like a brothel.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
that feels
brothel
bad.
and opium. You're really.
I know. I'm leaning into the seediness.
Yeah.
of it.
Okay.
I guess I'm picturing like Chinatown.
Yeah.
Is that later?
Chinatown's
Yeah.
from the 70s. I
Okay,
think.
then they can have brothels and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm imagining like hotels and everyone's dressed for business.
I think there may be that, but a brothel can be classy.
That could be a
A
classic
brothel?
brothel.
Are you speaking from experience?
Yeah, classy one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jake only goes to the classiest of brothels.
the finest. What was I gonna? What do you think? What's the like moment where it's like this did not age well?
Oh, good question.
Well, that's my pitch is that the bad guy is a white guy who's in brown face.
Oh, okay.
and we're like, okay.
yeah, with a
Okay.
crazy accent.
Yeah.
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 I think our protagonist slaps a woman.
Oh.
I think
That-
Humphrey Bogart.
Oh, he's always doing that.
I think he's like-
Well, that's why I think the woman's not going to matter as an actress is because I do think these movies are going to kind of have a through line of like bitches be crazy
Yeah.
even as they're in the plot. Because I think the woman double cross is like a woman, she could never do anything bad.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then she did. I can see it.
I also
can see
think this
it.
could be a case where the woman is like forced to betray him because she doesn't have any power or
Oh,
agency. But she's still like the villain and like the evil bitch
right.
character.
And he can then wish he could save her too, which is
Yeah.
like an ideal spot for our troubled Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah.
Well, do we have anything else, or should we get into what really happens?
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Do you love stories? Stories with heart? Stories with heart and gossip? Then tune into Kadi Assad Ghost Detective with me, Kadi Assad, and my friends Julia Stone and Mark Solo. We talk to entertainers about a time they were ghosted and try to figure out why that happened. It's touching, funny, and always hilarious. So tune into Kadi Assad Ghost Detective wherever you find podcasts.
All right, let's set the scene. It's 2017. You are pushing 30 years old and have just watched the finale of Pretty Little Liars. You're wearing your feathered earrings and your red coat, and you swore you'd never watch this show again.
Countless hours spent on message boards researching conspiracies. Time you will never get back.
Okay, so fast forward to 2023, and you call yourself a teen drama aficionado. Just finished a podcast dissecting every salacious episode of Gossip Girl, and you're looking for something to fill the void. Your listeners begged you for years, yes, years, to cover Pretty Little Liars on your podcast network, and for once, you're considering it. Hell, you're geared to do it, making you, well, a liar.
Liars. At last, We Are Liars podcast was born. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Liz.
And we're Total Betty Podcast Network, and we recap every single episode, spoiler-free, of Pretty Little Liars ad nauseum. Every exaggerated gasp, inappropriate relationship, and altogether fantasy this show holds.
Listen every Wednesday to We Are Liars as I, Liz, the veteran, and Michelle Newby talk spoiler-free about the wildness that is Pretty Little Liars.
Available wherever you get your podcasts.
Warning. Now's the part of the episode where we at least kind of reveal what really happens. Spoilers ahead. Ding! All right, so what happens? First of all, some details. I learned that this is not just a pioneer of the noir genre, but of the hard-boiled detective
Oh, hard-boiled
genre.
detective.
You know the difference between those?
No.
Okay. Hard-boiled
Okay.
is whenever a guy knows there's no hope because the cops are crooked and the mafia's, everyone's crooked.
Yeah.
And so he has to resort to acts of violence that you could only do if you're so trapped. And that made me excited.
But
I was
also-
thinking something like your summary.
But why is it egg-based terminology?
Because you're in hot water for a while and you come out hard.
Yeah, you've been cooked in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. No.
And then you get cracks when you fall.
Men have been writing stupid movies forever. Like,
Forever.
well, these are classics, but it is just like, it's just a guy my age going like, and everybody's fucking crooked except for our hero. He takes no shit and they forced him to do it. Like, it's just so stupid.
No, that's the same as like Taxi Driver. It's the same as
Yeah.
Fight Club if you think about it.
And we're still doing it. Joker.
Yeah.
Good one.
Just
good
like-
one.
getting more recycled.
100 years of us being like, there's only one guy who can do it. Everybody's against him.
Well, that's my argument too, is that 100 years of guys being like, the system's fucked, it doesn't work.
It's like-
and instead of trying to do anything about it, they're like, I gotta make a movie about
Yeah,
this.
it's also
Yeah.
like, it's your system.
Yeah, and they make a movie that they speed through the studio system. Unlike now, their society was better. They didn't even know
There
it was
you
going to get so
go.
bad. They had no idea.
Yeah, they
no
didn't.
idea. Also, I think the guys who wrote movies weren't in charge because back then the the business guys were like, pansy?
Yeah.
You're a pansy and you
Yeah.
like to write on your typewriter. And
All right, Twinkle Toes,
Yeah.
write us a movie.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like everything was just like,
yeah, and
Yeah.
they basically owned the actors.
Yeah.
yeah. We're getting back to that. Don't worry.
Phew.
Don't worry. I think Amazon has Ryan Gosling and maybe Jake Gyllenhaal for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't worry. All right. So we're in San Francisco.
Oh.
And our main detective, played by Humphrey Bogart, is named Sam Spade.
Good name.
Strong name.
You should change your name to
that.
To
yeah,
that.
definitely. It's probably been long enough that people would have forgotten the origin,
Mm-hmm.
except for this podcast.
Yeah.
Too bad.
We'll erase it.
We'll erase it. Sorry, Jake.
Dang.
All right. So Sam Spade, and he is a PI, and he has a PI partner. Him and this guy are in this office. They're not
Second
hooking up.
guy.
Don't worry.
Dang, I
The
didn't
guys
get a
are
partner.
not hooking up. Yeah. There's a second guy. Not for long.
Okay.
Ah.
There's a second guy, him and his partner, and they're talking to this lady, also a good name, Ruth Wonderly.
Okay. Played by.
Didn't care to jot that down. Whose sister ran away from New York City with a scoundrel named Fred. And
Incredible.
she wants these two San Francisco detective guys to help find this sister.
Why are they doing it in San Francisco? Shouldn't it be in New York?
Well, she fled New York City to the Wild West of San Francisco
She knows it's San Francisco.
with an unsavory man.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Then the detectives are like, sure, we'll get on that. They split for the night, and his partner's murdered.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So fast.
Life comes at you fast. So I thought that this doesn't really make sense on Wikipedia, but before learning his partner's murdered, he tries to go to the woman client's hotel and learns that she's not staying there. What were his motives? I wonder.
Weird.
Yeah. And then he goes home after checking on the woman's hotel, and cops are at his door, and they're like, your detective partner has been murdered. And so is this Fred guy.
Fred's also been murdered already?
They've both got murdered this same night. Twins.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, a lot for this guy to deal with.
Hard boiled.
Yeah. And so then the next day he goes and finds old Ruth Wonderly, not at the hotel, probably at the docks. And she admits that she lied about her whole situation.
Already
Wow.
a betrayal.
Yeah.
So quick.
And she was working with this Fred guy on some sort of shady deal, but he took advantage of her. So he's like,
So she wanted to find him to exact her revenge.
yes.
Okay.
And get whatever he absconded with or whatever. And then she's like, I bet Fred killed your partner.
Okay.
And then convinces him somehow to investigate these murders anyway, despite how bad it's already going and that she's a big liar.
Wow.
He's on board.
Okay.
Yeah. So then he goes back to his office. I don't know where he met this lady. And there's a guy who, I think this is the contender for like the brown face, a guy named Joel Caro,
Okay.
as in a place in Egypt for a last name.
Uh-huh.
Offers him $5,000 to find a black statue of a bird.
Okay.
It is a statue.
Yes. And I think it's weird that I thought it was going to be like a precious gold bird at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a black statue of a bird. And Sam Spade's like, why would you want me to do that? $5,000 for a bird? The guy doesn't like that. He knocks him out with a gun.
What?
And he searches Sam Spade's office because he thinks Sam has the bird.
Already?
Yes. Sam Spade comes to.
That's giving crazy.
It is crazy. Well, guess what happens next? This guy knocks out Sam Spade. He comes to, and he's like, okay, since you don't have it, will you go find it for me?
And he's like, sure.
Yes. Yes.
Whoa.
Crazy order of operations from this guy,
Really
Joel
crazy.
Caro. Yes.
Knock him out. Look around.
Then try to make him work for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not what I would do. And then the other crazy thing is that our Sam Spade guy keeps going back to this lying woman and reporting like,
Of course.
yeah, he's like, hey,
He loves her.
here's the update. I guess so. They're probably at least gazing at each other. And you can't text at this time.
Yeah.
So
That's
he,
right.
he had to go hunt her down and say all this stuff. So he goes and tells the woman about this event happening. She's nervous. And he's like, oh, the bird knows Joel Caro.
The bird knows about the bird.
They're embroiled together. He arranges a meeting for Joel Caro and the woman to meet each other because I guess he's going to gotcha them. And then they start talking about some guy named the Fat Man.
Okay.
That's the bad guy. Spoiler.
Ah.
The fat one.
Okay.
Yeah. Character defect.
Mhm.
That was such a thing back then.
It was a character defect. And then he once again is knocked out, this time by a spiked drink.
Wow.
This guy has so much brain damage already by this part of the movie.
I didn't get any knockouts.
And he keeps going, which I think is crazy. Also, even after being roofied, which you'd think that would be a no. But he's
Yeah.
fine with it. Anyway, so he comes to after this whole conversation happens and conveniently finds an address on a table.
Oh, nice.
Pretty good. Easy to be a detective. He goes to the address, and it's the address of a ship.
Wow.
Their ships have addresses?
That was the thing for me as well. When I was
This is
reading
the craziest part of the
that I
summary
didn't
so
know
far.
you could have an address for a ship, and the ship's on fire.
When he gets there?
Yes. And the
Okay.
captain is running away and conveniently drops a package.
Oh.
It contains
The
The
bird.
freaking
the
bird.
Maltese Falcon.
Oh, that nice.
And so then Sam Spade, that nice, exactly.
That nice.
That nice. And then Sam Spade takes the Falcon and leaves it at a bus terminal.
Why?
I don't know.
Like on purpose or
Yes,
just he
it
just
seems that, like on purpose.
okay.
So he leaves it at a bus terminal. I guess he doesn't want this hot object on his hands.
Okay.
Maybe he stashes it away somewhere at a bus
Did they not
terminal.
have bags back then?
A man can't carry a bag.
That's true.
This is 1941.
Okay, fine,
He's going to be
fine,
a
fine.
pansy. So he goes home, and all the gangster people are there, including the fat man. And they're like, "Where's the bird?" And he's like, "I don't have the bird, but I'll give it to you if you give me the person who killed my partner, actually." They then try to fight him, and during this fight announced they were going to flee to Istanbul. And then they leave. He calls the police and tells the police that the bad guys are going to Istanbul, so I guess they can go catch them on the way. And then he calls the girl and is like, "You killed my detective partner, didn't you? To frame your accomplice so that you could be the one with the Maltese Falcon." And she says, "Yeah."
What?
And then he gives both the bird and her to the police.
Wow.
That's the end?
Yes. And I didn't think that was hard boiled
No.
once I
No.
actually heard the story, because it sounds like this guy believes in the law
Right.
and
Yeah.
wasn't in hard enough straits to like take the money to give some guys the bird, which seems like what he should have done.
Yeah, and the cops weren't dirty.
And you never find out like why the bird's important.
It's expensive. An ancient treasure. It's MacGuffin, you're right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They just want it so that gangster stuff can happen.
But then he actually just solves the mystery and gets the bird and then gives it to the police, wipes his hands of it, gets the money too, I assume.
I doubt it.
Oh.
I was thinking that was the problem for me, is that he didn't take the dirty money. But yeah, old.
Old.
I didn't want to watch it after hearing this summary.
You know,
No.
I didn't either.
No.
I like the MacGuffin in my movies to be like a sense of inner peace or like justice or something
Okay.
that my brooding main detective can never get.
Right. Well, yeah, he doesn't end it with anything that he didn't already have, you
That's
know?
what it seems like.
Like, what did this journey teach him? Don't trust women.
Well,
A
yeah.
lot of those movies are like that, I feel like, where it's like you go on this thing and then it's like, did anything really happen? I watched Night Moves, which is like a 70s detective movie with Gene Hackman, and I was like, I can't even tell you what it was about. It was like a girl went missing, and then he like found the girl, and he was like, stop running away. And then it was like, she keeps running away, and it was like, well, knock it off. And I was like, that was the movie?
That was
like,
the movie.
And there's one with in LA that's based on a Raymond Chandler. Oh no, Raymond. Oof, people are going to be so angry when they hear this. But it's but I watched that one, and it was like he just kept coming and going from his apartment, and then like checked something out, and then it was like, don't get involved, and he was like, okay. It was like that.
That's
was
what I feel like the movies
I
are
was
too.
like,
is a
what
guy
the
goes
fuck
three
is
places.
happening?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's too during this era we didn't have TV yet, so we couldn't have like serial shows where it's like a cop guy that we know goes and does a new thing every week that doesn't matter or affect his life, and I guess
Right.
people were craving that
Yeah.
Yeah.
from before the time we had like the Law and Orders.
It's like
or,
a
Psych.
2-hour procedural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what the guys who wanted to make movies were interested in, was procedure.
Yeah. And like I feel like this kind of invented the plot twist of like the woman was behind it all along. So now that's like boring to us, but maybe at the time it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Did either of you watch Under the Silver Lake?
Yeah, we watched that
Yes,
together,
we
as a
did
matter
watch
of
Under the
fact.
Silver Lake.
I didn't finish it. I couldn't get through it.
See, that worked for me. I
See,
liked that one.
it's so pointless that it almost like circles all the way back to being like, oh, the point is there's no point to any of this.
Nihilism.
I was like, this is gonna rule. I love an LA movie. And
It
I was
wasn't
like,
about LA. It was about
No.
something else.
yeah, I was like, what? I like Andrew Garfield. I was like, and then it was just like, I even like on-screen sex. And there was, I felt like he was having sex with a woman like every 5
There's
scenes.
hella tits in the movie.
Right,
I
right,
remember.
right.
But I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, I can't finish this. I don't care.
To me, it kind of felt like almost like a spoof of a David Lynch movie or something.
Yeah.
And that made me like it.
It's, yeah. Okay.
It ends pretty dumb too, but it blows out in a way that's like, I think more comedy ultimately.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying it was good. I'm just saying it was my cup of tea.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like one of
Yeah.
those movies you can just watch and just be like, what? But then it's like kind of, I don't know. You just have to accept that it doesn't make any damn sense.
Okay.
I think.
But it gives you ideas to consider. And I think this movie doesn't sound like it's really giving you any ideas
No.
to consider.
No.
And that's what I like if a movie's going to be bad, I want to have some like philosophical touch points. Like,
Right.
wanna
I
be
just
like,
think they had
huh.
fewer ideas back then.
Well, I like how that movie you said it's just called The Apartment. You
Yeah.
got to make that. You got to make the movie about the apartment. and
That
the
one
house
actually
and,
has
like-
a lot of ideas to consider.
Really?
I think that one's a good movie. I'm gonna stand by that.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's about a guy who has a free apartment that he lets his boss use to have an affair.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like he just has an apartment and then people keep using it to have sex that they shouldn't have, and then it's like that's the setup.
Fun.
Wait, do they kill a woman in it?
I don't think they kill anyone in it.
Okay. Well, I think they remade this movie in like 2013 with James Marsden. And
Uh-huh.
it's called The Apartment, except it's that like 6 like business guys also go there to have illicit sex, but then someone leaves like a dead hooker there. So they upped the ante on it for the modern remake. Yeah.
Well,
But I agree that's something to think about is like the
Something
problems you
that-
might encounter when you share a sex apartment with your
yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
That's very modern.
No,
Yeah.
it is modern. It is modern.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't want to watch the Maltese Falcon. I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
I know. I also wish it was like in the streets of Geneva or something. Like I would like if it was more international caper.
You should watch Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
They figured out how to make
That's
the
what we
Maltese
ultimately
Falcon.
learn.
Yeah,
in this
yeah,
episode
yeah.
is everyone should just watch
Absolutely.
Mission Impossible.
Oh, for sure. If you want some real twists.
I mean, if Tom Cruise was in it, there you go.
Yeah, sounds like there's not even a single stunt in it.
The great thing about Mission Impossible movies, especially watching them in succession, and I'm noticing this because watching Caroline watch it for the first time, is they get you on the misdirects, like from movie to movie. So you're like, oh, I know what's going to happen because they did it in the last movie, and then they do it slightly different.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
Whoa.
whoa. And then it's like, 2, everybody's wearing a mask. And
Yeah.
you're like ready for it. And then 3, it's like there's no mask until the one moment there's a mask, and you're like, holy shit.
The mask is truly the genius invention of Mission Impossible.
Well, it's
And
the
they
threat that anyone could be Tom Cruise, right?
Yeah.
I've only seen the last 2 in recent years, and that's mostly what I know about them is that anyone in this movie could actually be
But
Tom
also,
Cruise.
Tom Cruise
Watch
could be
out.
anyone.
And
it works both ways.
it keeps working. It shouldn't work
Yeah.
after 8 movies, but you're like, I can't believe this is happening. And then it's like, oh, it's a mask.
It's like the mom from Arrested
Like-
Development's
Yeah.
thing where that guy is always in disguise.
Jean Parmesan.
Jean-
Yes,
Parmesan.
and how she's shocked every time.
Yeah, that's me watching
Oh,
Mission
God.
Impossible. Yeah, no matter how many times I watch it, I'm still on board with the twists and turns.
a
It
good
works
format.
every time.
It does.
Every
Yeah.
time I'm like, mask.
And you can be like, that's the one where he jumps in the water. Earlier, that
Yeah,
was how you
yeah,
just
yeah.
described a whole one of them.
Yeah, and I was
that's
like,
the one where he jumps in the
yes,
water.
he
yeah,
jumps
he
in the
holds his breath for 4 minutes.
Yeah,
Wow.
except Ilsa can hold it for longer.
Yeah.
Is
And
that
Kate
a woman?
Winslet can hold it for even longer.
Wow.
in real life.
In real life, can she?
Yeah. Tom Cruise had to learn how to do it for 4 minutes for that Mission Impossible movie. And Kate Winslet did it for 6 minutes for Avatar 2.
Kate Winslet's in Avatar 2.
Yeah.
And we have the technology to make those blue people do stuff, but we don't have the technology to make it so she doesn't have to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Crazy,
What's she
right?
holding her breath about in Avatar 2?
I guess they still filmed it underwater.
It's freaking underwater.
They still filmed it underwater.
Yeah.
James Cameron loves underwater.
Yeah.
And Kate
It is
Winslet.
weird.
Yeah.
He loves both those things.
It is weird. Like when I'm making something or writing something,
Uh-huh.
I'm very self-conscious about being like, I'm sort of saying the same thing I already said, or this feels like it feels like I'm just like recycling ideas or whatever. And it's like James Cameron will spend $300 million to be like, let's go to the ocean again.
Yeah, and everyone in America is like, fuck yeah.
It's like so crazy.
The ocean is the thing we know the least about, arguably.
Yeah.
Like science isn't going there, so I guess James Cameron should.
All our most successful directors it's like Steven Spielberg is like, I still got to talk about my parents. It's like, really? Again?
He does got to talk about his parents.
Quentin Tarantino, feet.
Feet.
Feet. Yeah.
But that's what it takes to be.
An artist is people
Yeah.
have to know your weird themes and stuff.
And you have to not be self-conscious about doing it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, when you think about it like that, loving the ocean, not that weird compared to
No.
Compared to
Yeah.
feet.
yeah, doing feet over and over is more weird than the ocean.
Yeah.
I love the ocean.
Hmm.
Feet,
I
take
don't
'em
think
or
you
leave
love
'em.
the ocean as much as Quentin Tarantino loves feet.
Wow.
I don't. I don't. I
That
love.
should be a t-shirt.
I don't love the ocean as much as Quentin Tarantino loves feet.
All right, should we move on to our
Our final huge closing segment.
mhm,
Yes.
predictions?
Predictions.
Oh, right.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
You guess you never could have predicted this is how we're gonna end the podcast.
Oh my God, I had one when you were telling me that up top, and now
I don't have one either.
All right, I'll go
so you
first.
start, and we have to do our best thinking.
All right, I'm gonna go first, but this one's gonna rock the boat. This one's gonna be controversial.
Mm-hmm.
I've been predicting for a while that there's gonna be a Beyonce backlash.
really.
Mm-hmm. And it's gonna be huge. And I don't know when, but we were talking about this earlier. It feels like there's pieces but like in motion right now that could eventually lead to the toppling of the queen.
Oh,
Queen
no.
on the chessboard.
That's
okay,
really
Yeah.
gonna upset me.
later.
I hate that. I hope that doesn't come true. Oh no.
Okay, my prediction is like, you know how everyone's being worried about like human fertility and reproduction right now, and like people aren't having enough babies and stuff.
Yeah, the birth rate is declining.
Yeah. What if the same thing happens but like for cows?
But cows stop fucking.
Yeah.
But we're making them fuck. That's
I know.
the whole
What if
thing.
it stops working?
Whoa.
Oh whoa.
That's my, yeah, whoa. Think about the implications of that.
They're not importing beef from Mexico right now because of
the tariffs.
no, there's like a
The cow
beetle.
disease.
There's
a
like a
beetle?
Yeah.
some sort of like
A beetle that
Right.
the cow
I think
can't
that
tolerate.
beetle's making it so that the cows cannot have sex to completion.
Wow.
and that's going to go the world over really soon.
Wow, we're gonna have to do a cow IVF.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Or get a new meat. Watch out.
Well, we can't do chickens.
That's what I'm saying. Watch out.
Watch out.
What's the new meat? gonna
These
be?
are all so dark.
Do a happy
Okay, do
one.
a happy one.
yeah, that's no fun.
Wait, what's gonna be worse for you? Cows can't fuck anymore, or Beyonce is canceled?
Probably Beyonce is canceled because
Okay.
as much as I eat beef more regularly than I listen to Beyonce,
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't be eating his beef.
Okay.
I shouldn't be like that. Would end up
So that would be a positive change for you.
and
okay.
it's like
That's why I'm kind of rooting. I'm rooting for this one.
Yeah,
I
maybe
think
it's
it'd be a
good if the
positive
cows
change for
can't fuck.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much climate change caused by cows.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're gonna lose at least one improv theater by the end of the year.
Damn. In Los
Shit.
Angeles, California.
Yeah.
Is it yours? Is this you coming out on the podcast? Is
I
going
fucking
under?
hope not.
Okay, I'll knock for that
Yeah,
too.
Thanks.
yeah. No.
I'll knock for that too. I'm scared of what's going to be lost by the end of the year.
Wow.
In general, in
Yeah.
terms of
Let's
LA
not speculate
culture.
though. Let's keep it clean and
Let's
classy.
keep it clean and classy.
Clean and classy.
Yeah.
We all have to try our best to those two ideals, despite what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe I should do a positive one that's on a bigger scale.
Okay.
Well, I actually want to say to that point, Jake, I've been reading some of the Substack work you've been doing lately.
Oh yeah.
I want to shout you out as not only We Improv founder, but I think Improv left is king.
Oh, thanks.
Because you're worried about the prices. And
Yeah.
I know that affects you too, but also those of other people. And I
Yeah.
think that's important.
Thanks.
And I'm saying this to now say, have you ever considered running for political office?
I can tell you that you're not the first person to ask me that.
Yeah, you got a little army going.
And I was on a podcast and they were like, well, what would you vision like as a political campaign? And I was like, well, I think everybody sort of does that. And they were like, no, they don't. Nobody thinks about what their political campaign would be. The stuff that I get riled up about politically is also the stuff I get riled up about, like in the improv community.
Personally.
Like, I think it is this idea that like there is like there isn't enough supply to go around in improv is like a big issue for me of like, we've got to hold auditions because there's just not enough space. And it's like, yes, there is. What the fuck are you talking about? You guys, like, there is enough space for everybody to play. And I don't know why we're all pretending like there isn't enough. And it's like, I do know why, because it like creates this supply and demand thing. But it's like, there isn't a supply shortage. We're fine. And I'm reading a book, Abundance, which is like,
you said abundance mindset earlier.
Yeah. The idea that like we actually do have, like, I think climate and environment and that stuff and water is especially scary, but it's like we don't have to have a homeless population.
No.
Like, I drive past fucking giant empty buildings. Like, if a intelligent life came down to our planet, they would be like, why do you have people sleeping outside and you have empty buildings? Like, it's like, I know it's more complicated than that, but we live in a leftist state that has the highest homeless population. It's like, we're all lawn sign liberals that are like, hate has no home here or whatever. And
we
it's
believe
like,
in science in this house.
it's like, but we don't want.
This is a NIMBYism.
Well, those unhoused people can't have a sign that says they believe in science. We can't trust them.
I know,
we
it is
can't,
so
we don't know if they're cool because they don't have a sign.
They have no front yard.
They have no,
it's tough.
Yeah.
Tough.
It's tough.
We're like, we won't call you homeless, we'll call you unhoused, but we won't do anything to fix
get
it.
housing.
In fact, unhoused just draws attention to house, you know?
Right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Still.
Anyway.
All right.
How do we land there?
I asked you because that was me gotchaing you.
Yeah.
All right, well, prediction alert. Maybe one day Jake Jabbour will run for office.
Yeah. I've done too many podcasts that have me saying filthy things.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's one thing I take solace in like with everything currently happening is I think you can literally say or do most things.
Yeah. That is true.
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
No.
It's not gonna get you.
It's true.
Yeah.
It hopefully has leveled the playing field for any scumbag with an idea to run for
How
office.
beautiful.
It is. Look, I'm less scared about like I've started in my clown work. I've forayed into freestyle rapping again.
Amazing.
Which was something that I was like, as a white woman, I cannot do this during the first Trump administration. Like this is bad. And then now I'm like, you know what's really bad? Stuff people
Absolutely.
in charge are doing. I can
Yeah.
do whatever I
1,000%.
want.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's the
That should be our one little win is like to go like, okay, well, then I get a freestyle rap if I want.
do this,
And then you
and
know
I kind
what?
of feel like that.
Maybe we should make every politician freestyle rap because who knows what would come out.
That's great.
The truth.
I argue
It'd be
that
funny.
during the political debates, you have to answer a question that is, when was the last time you shit your pants? And it's like, tell us. I know it's happened to you. Humanize yourself a little bit. I don't want to go around here thinking I'm the only one who's shit my pants.
Well, famously, Jake, you also got shit on by a sea hag dog.
That's true. Is that famous now?
It's very famous.
Wait, when's the last time you shit your pants? I'm worried this is going to be why you can't run for office.
No, I haven't in a very long time. But it was in Las Vegas maybe like 15 years ago.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Actually, that makes you. I'm gonna say that makes you more marketable.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
That's
Thank you
exactly
very
where
much.
and when it should have happened.
That's the kind
A
of
good
guy I would want to
gotcha.
get a beer with.
The guy who shit in
Yeah.
Las Vegas 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Agreed. I do wonder if that's the future. Is that it is going to be the questions are like, tell us the last time you shit yourself and orgasmed. And
Yeah.
that's part of running for office. And if you can't handle it,
Yeah.
get out of the. We used to have this cookie jar that was a fireman at my grandma's house, and it would say, if you can't take the heat, get out of the cookie jar. When you open the cookie jar.
I love
But
that.
if you can't handle hard-hitting personal questions, get out of the
1,000%.
cookie jar. Wait, were you gonna do another upbeat one? Now that we got.
Oh yeah. What's an upbeat one? You know what? I don't know if this is a prediction, but I'm hoping for a Sean William Scott renaissance.
Okay.
Stifler from the American
Stifler
Pie
from the
movies.
American Pie movies.
He's in the Righteous Gemstones right now. He's being a little underutilized, but I think it's time to have like a fun renaissance with that guy.
Let's put him in White Lotus.
Yeah, give him a
Yeah.
White Lotus.
I think
thing.
that's the kind of guy too who at this point could get an Oscar because we love like Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
going for an Oscar, we love like a guy from like a late night comedy coming back as a serious actor.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
one.
Tim Allen will be dead this year. I don't know.
Okay. We got 3 predictions.
Tim Allen and 1 improv theater will be
Dead by the end of the year.
All right.
All
Well, to wrap it up, Jake, do you have anything you want to plug?
Check out We Improv. Come see Sea every Saturday,
Saturday, 6 p.m.
6 p.m. Toontown every second Saturday. Check out classes at weimprov.org. I wrote some books. You can buy those on there. And subscribe to my Substack, jakejabbour.substack.com.
Jake Jabbour, future mayor of Substack.
Mayor.
Yeah. That's where political office is going
All right.
All right. Thank
All
you, Happenstancers. As always, please like, share. If this is your first episode, go listen to another one.
Yeah.
Sinners came up earlier. We got a whole ep on that
I know. It's controversial, too.
2 weeks ago.
Ooh.
Joseph didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't like
Oh
it.
my God. I got to
know.
listen.
Wow. You too can be in the listening company of Jake Jabbour.
And if you're not already watching us on YouTube, check us out there, too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.